I'm looking forward to the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Houston Rockets. The second Game 7 that we had in the playoffs was the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. And the Thunder, they almost stole that one from the Rockets, but they didn't even get to have a shot off. And if it wasn't for James Harden's stellar block, and in essence, a lot of people were saying that that block saved James Harden's career, because if James Harden didn't get that block, the Thunder could have scored, and then they would have been like, "What's going on with James Harden?" When we knew that him and Harden couldn't work together, and his legacy would be in question. So James Harden gets the block, and now not the Thunder, the Houston Rockets face the best team in the West, the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's interesting, JJ, because like we've seen, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they haven't really looked like themselves. Obviously, Westbrook with his injury, so it's very concerning. Hopefully, he reminds us who he was. He's a former MVP, and I'm concerned about him. He struggled with turnovers, and he would shoot the ball when he wouldn't, or it was away from Harden. And Harden didn't look like that dominant generational talent that we've seen, but he has made those clutch shots to remind us that he's still James Harden, but we haven't seen that James Harden-esque performance. And on the other side with the Lakers LeBron, in essence, reminded us that he's still the best player in the world. I mean, the Lakers obviously did benefit because Damian Lillard had a knee injury, so he wasn't able to play in like the final two games, which is very unfortunate. I think the series could have been extended, but the Lakers took care of business, and AD looked dominant, and he looked really good, JJ. And it's funny because I saw on Twitter, and someone posted a meme of a Space Jam with the tall monster and then the little mouse being PJ Tucker and the tall monster being Anthony Davis. And I think Anthony Davis will come true, because I think that he'll be fine against PJ Tucker. I mean, he did cause Steven Adams some fits, but Steven Adams and Anthony Davis are two different animals. So I think Anthony Davis should be able to optimize this, but like we've seen, the Lakers have shown that they can be the best team, and they have shown that they could struggle immensely and be a completely different team. So it's just a matter of what Lakers team we see against the Houston Rockets. But I predict this series to go 6 games, and I think the Lakers take it. What about you, JJ?
So you made, I agree with a lot of what you said about, the really depends on what Laker team that you get. Ironically enough, I do believe that, the Blazers unfortunately just ran into, injury mishaps that kept them from extending this series. And even though the Rockets were able to, in the regular season games, they, had some, they had success, making, their threes. But I am concerned about how Russell Westbrook looks. I think, in the OKC series, he tried to shoot his way back into the game a little bit. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes it can hurt if you're not making them,
Right.
because it just makes you struggle even more. But I don't know. I look at this series and, so even though OKC is a good team and I give them credit, I think Houston struggled too much with the Thunder just because of how Houston's system is.
Right.
And I think the Lakers team, if they, the loss to Portland in game 1 was kind of like a wake-up call for them, because after that, they tightened everything up, and then the next 4 wins looked, with the exception of the one where Dame was out, the Lakers wins looked a little more easier to get, after they lost the first one, because that's just how good they are. when they're all on one accord. So I think this one, unless Russell Westbrook, gets a lot, healthier and plays better, I think this one will go 5 as well. And I just think, I like Harden and Westbrook individually as players, but I don't see this system being one that works, in this series or long term. I understand that it's like 50-50 a risk and reward. If they're making threes, that's fine. That's when it looks good and everyone's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But what happens, when they're not making them, it's still going to be like a sore spot for me. And then when I look at how big the Lakers are on the other side, I think I think Anthony Davis is licking his chops. That's the most respectful way I can say it, because he's looking at these guys. No disrespect to these guys on Houston who are good, defenders. Daniel House, Robert Covington, PJ Tucker, who's a strong guy. But what's gonna happen when they look across and they see Anthony Davis or Dwight Howard, even, who's played better since being on the Lakers. JaVale McGee still can come out and play for them and give them minutes. And of course you have LeBron. It's bad when I mention 3 7-foot guys before I mention the best player not only on their team.
Right.
Although an argument could be made because Anthony Davis is younger, taller, bigger, does more stuff. But, I'm going to save that argument because they're both on the same team right now. But, out of all those guys, I mentioned LeBron fourth because you still have 3 7-foot guys that can all play, interchangeably with one another and work just as well. So, and I think if the Lakers get any kind of production from Kyle Kuzma, I think they're just going to turn the lights out on the Houston Rockets pretty quickly. So I like Harden and Westbrook, but I think the size difference really is what makes this series a 5-game one.
I respect your decision and your prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I just don't know. Like you said, you had a gut feeling about the last series. I just have a gut feeling that I think they'll at least get 2. I think James Harden will wake up. I know that the Lakers have a lot of size. It's gonna be a challenge. Like I don't think they'll be able to overcome it, but I definitely think that they can get 2. Westbrook, you mentioned it. He's been shooting the ball, trying to get back into a rhythm. And another thing that I think you forgot to mention was in the series against the Thunder. I think it was Game 6, which could have sealed the deal. Russell Westbrook turned the ball over, so he hasn't been himself. If he didn't turn the ball over, we could be having a different conversation. The series would have been over in 6 games, and Westbrook would have got onto a rhythm, and it would have propelled him to the Lakers, and I think it would calm the storm a little bit over the Houston Rockets and Mike D'Antoni. The size is definitely an issue, but I said the same thing with Anthony Davis for Steven Adams last series, because Steven Adams, he's not a scrub. He can defend. He can shoot the ball in the paint. We're like a 5-footer, and he's just like a monster. But Anthony Davis is a different animal, so I'm more confident in him taking advantage against PJ Tucker than Steven Adams. I don't know. I want the Lakers to win. I think they will. It's just a matter of how many games it is. And Mike D'Antoni just has to figure it out. And if the Rockets can make their threes, they shoot the most in the league. I don't know if they make the most, but they shoot the most. So if they can make a lot of their threes, I think they can compensate for their size. But if they don't, then it just makes Russell Westbrook and James Harden work harder. And if they don't have a lot of gas for an extended series, then it's going to only be 5 games, like you said.